Do you enjoy touring? I do, actually. When I first started touring, I found it quite difficult. Felt very awkward and clumsy on stage, and was very aware that I had a lot to learn. But then as the years have gone by, I've relaxed and become more confident. Been doing it for such a long time now that it's like second nature, so I don't really get stage fright and things like that, as a rule. And it is by far the most exciting part of all the different things that you have to do to be a rock star, pop star, whatever you want to call it, a touring musician. And so I really look forward to it. I look forward to every tour, and while I'm sometimes glad at the end of each tour that it's finished because I'm worn out, within a few days I'm looking forward to the next one again, and I hope to do it for as long as possible. (16) Is it difficult deciding what songs to play on tour? I actually find it incredibly difficult. So it would seem, the more albums you make, the more choice you have, so the more quality you can choose from. Doesn't actually work like that. What tends to happen is, if you don't want to do a set that's all your big singles, obviously, it seems to me anyway that my audience particularly, or perhaps a tiny part of it, but a very vocal part of it, unfortunately, tend to think that I should do different songs every single night. Now, I think that's ridiculous, but I kind of find the pressure of that gets to me a little bit. And so I do spend an awful lot of time going over and over and over again what songs I've done, what songs I would like to do, or what songs I think I should do, more to the truth, what songs I can do, because an awful lot of my stuff has fretless bass on, for example, has lots of girl singers, saxophone, things that this current lineup of musicians in the band I have at the moment can't play. I don't have that lineup anymore, and that's one of the problems of having such a long career, and that as the music varies, I would have to have a band of about 20 people in it or more to be able to play songs from the different stages of the career. And so the band I've got at the moment and the music I'm doing at the moment is the band I want and the music that I want to make. But that means that I cannot do all of my back catalogue. I can only do bits of it that this particular lineup is capable of doing. And so I'm torn between choosing the songs from those albums that are left, and it's probably just under half of the albums I've ever made are now available to this band. And so yes, I do struggle, and I try very hard to change them around as much as possible. Always remember, of course, that I'm trying to do the best set that I've got. I don't want to change songs just for the sake of it. So it's a very difficult thing to get right, very difficult balance. And you can bet your life, whatever set you choose, there are people that will think it's the wrong one. So I'm always given a lot of feedback after every show that I do from people saying, oh, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And it gets a bit depressing. And so I'm tending to cut myself away from it a little bit more now and get a little bit more hard-nosed about it and just doing what me and the band like and what I think the majority of the fans like. And those people that complain a lot, I'm tending to listen to them less and less, if at all, these days. 17. Do you feel that you have to rework older songs live, or should you play them as they were originally recorded? I prefer to rework the songs so that when we play them live, they sound as though they belong beside the songs on the new album. And so I spend a great deal of time in the studio as tours are coming up, reprogramming and working away and just trying to come up with parts. And the compromise is I keep the melody, the vocal melody the same, I keep the arrangement the same, or if not, very similar, so that people listening to a song in the audience recognise the song, recognise the melody, kind of know what's coming next so they feel comfortable with it, but then I just add a whole load of stuff on top. So reproduce it with new programming, new sounds, new parts, everything on top of what was there before. The way I would do probably if I was to go into studio afresh and if I was writing that song today. And that, I think, has worked very, very well. The song is recognisable and yet it's modern. And that's an important thing to do. When you've had a long career, it can sound very, very clumsy if you have a song from 20 years ago with a song from now. It's just leaping around too much and the sounds are too different. And it sounds like a very disjointed kind of affair. By working on the older songs and bringing them up to date, you keep the element of what they were, but you make it sound appropriate to the current stuff. And it makes it, for me, a much more enjoyable experience. 18. What do you think of on stage during a performance? Most of the time I'm worrying about my lyrics because I'm very poor at remembering lyrics, and I'm concentrating very, very hard on where we are in a song, what's coming next, what particular problems that might be, what I have to do technically, how various songs are taken by the crowd, how is the crowd reacting, what's going on, what side is responding more than another, how to work the crowd is a very important part of it. And quite often there's a number of little glitches that are happening to do with monitoring and various bits of equipment not working quite right. A show very, very rarely goes 100% smoothly, and the more professional you are, it should hopefully mean that the audience doesn't know any of that. Well, Brixton's a classic example that we did in October 2000. Well, I probably had the worst, the whole band had the worst gig we've ever had. And yet, from what I can tell, 99% of the people in the audience thought I was having a really good time and thoroughly enjoying myself. When in fact, it was a nightmare, and I wasn't enjoying myself at all for most of it. So that is kind of the sort of thing that you're thinking about when you're doing it. 19. Would you ever use members from the first 79 touring lineup again? I really doubt it very, very much. Well, obviously, Paul has died. We all know that. Russell is into very different things now. I see Russell from time to time. Chris Payne, as far as I know, now lives in France, is married and does library music and isn't involved in that kind of touring thing at all. And Said, I haven't heard from for many, many years. I don't even know what Said's doing. And apart from all that, I really love the band that I've got now. They're my closest friends. We see each other all the time. They're fantastic players. They're very, very good people to be on tour with. Just the most exciting, fun time to be around on tour with them. And I think on stage they're just lovely to work with. They're very dedicated, very enthusiastic. And all in all, I wouldn't dream of trading any of them for anybody else.